Welcome back. A lot of decisions are being made in our country this week.
With the new cases of coronavirus in states going on lockdown to stop the spread, many people have questions about what's going on.
Congressman Rodney Davis joins us over video chat to bring some clarity to this. Good morning, Congressman.
Good morning, Aaron and Christy. How are you?
We're doing, I think, as good as we can be under the circumstances. First question we want to ask you, Congressman. President Trump said over the weekend, small businesses are the engine of our country, but small business owners very concerned right now because the stimulus package looks like it's failing in the Senate. Nancy Pelosi says the House could come up with their own version. How do you see that process going, and how long do you think it will take? Because as we know, the bills come every month.
That there's a delay that our small businesses and those workers who work in those Main Street businesses every day, they can't afford to wait. We passed a second stimulus coronavirus related bill last Friday. We left it up to the Senate to get something done in a bipartisan fashion, just like we did. And it's unfortunate, but with many Republican senators out, it seems that the Democrats want to play politics. If Speaker Pelosi wants to get us back to Washington to do this bill in the House, I'm awaiting a call, awaiting an email, and ready to go. We can't afford to wait much longer for our Main Street businesses and those folks who are actually lining up for unemployment right now.
And Congressman Davis, many Americans are still stuck abroad right now. In fact, 2 people from Central Illinois are still trying to get back from Peru. President Trump mentioned yesterday that they are trying to get them back home. Do you have any idea when that will happen?
I know our team's been working with some of our constituents who have relatives or family members overseas. We're going to continue to work with the administration to do what we can. Sometimes it's in the hands of the foreign government. I certainly hope we can get them back on American soil as soon as possible.
So, Congressman, hospitals and their staff members are really on the front lines of this pandemic. They will be affected and strained if we don't get a handle on the virus. The president says he signed an executive order to help them get the supplies they need, and he's already started on that. Do you know if hospitals in Central Illinois will be a part of those getting the much-needed supplies?
Being released. Hundreds of thousands of PPEs have been sent from the federal government to the state of Illinois for distribution from our state officials. So I'm anxiously awaiting to see what those distributions look like. I want to say thank you to the governor. After a couple of days of asking, he finally did what many hospitals wanted me to ask him to do, which was to relieve a rule that most states don't have, but Illinois did, that required non-contagious patients with MRSA to still be stuck in isolation. And when you're in isolation and you're not contagious, that takes PPEs away. When Governor Pritzker, after a couple of days, actually agreed to my request, that freed up 40 to 50% of the PPEs that were used on a daily basis in our hospitals. That helps, but it won't be enough. We've got to work together, federal, state, and local officials, to make sure that the PPEs are in our healthcare facilities where my wife is at every day.
Now, we here in Illinois, along with New Jersey and Michigan, are right behind California when it comes to the number of cases of coronavirus. President Trump says he's helping them along with New York and Washington. Could we be next in getting some aid?
Well, I believe if the governor makes that formal request, like the governors of New York and California and Washington have, once that request is made, we're going to continue to ask President Trump and his administration to make that designation. Absolutely. This is not a time for politics. This is a time for actually getting things done together. Everybody can be criticized in a disaster response, especially after the fact. We don't need any Monday morning quarterbacking while we're in the midst of this. Let's sit down, say thank you to those officials who are actually doing things right. Thank you, Governor Pritzker, for listening to my hospitals and changing the rule on MRSA patients who were not contagious. Thank you, President Trump. Thank you to everyone for sending PPEs to our state. Now let's get them out. Let's stay in action. Let's stay alert, and let's beat this thing.
Yeah, and Congressman Davis, it's actually something we wanted to ask you about. We've seen Governor Pritzker and the president have been bickering on Twitter about the response to all this. Is that something that could potentially keep us from getting help from the administration?
Absolutely not. I don't think Governor Cuomo and President Trump are close friends, but they've been working very closely together to get a handle on what the strain of the virus is doing to New York and New York City and its citizens. But it's something that doesn't need to happen right now. And let's not send tweets out with profanity just because you think it's cute. This is serious business right now. And I know the governor's new. We've been through many disasters with different presidents in my time in Congress, and it's time we work together. Let's make sure that we have all levels of government actually working hand in hand. We've got so many needs here, and right now, if the governor wants to take the time to tweet, how about he call our 2 senators and tell them to vote for this phase 3 so that we can come back to the House and pass what the Senate does.
Finally, Congressman Davis, at this time of uncertainty, is there anything else you want to tell the people you serve?
I want to tell everyone, thank you for your patience. This is unprecedented in our nation's history. This is something that we'll look back on in United States history, and we'll show the world once again that we are the United States of America. We will lead in the development of a vaccine. Our private sector and our public sector will work together in making that happen. We will be the shining star as to how to address this virus and any other virus in the future. But we've got to do better after this is over to be prepared. The time to reflect on what went wrong is when the virus is gone in this country. And we will then be able to come up with ideas, plans, and be better prepared for the next one.
All right, Congressman Davis, thank you so much for your time today. We hope you stay well and healthy.
Thank you. You too.
We have much more of the morning show coming up right after this. We'll be right back.